Good morning. Let's update our multifamily video for our multifamily buyers. Right now in the marketplace, there's 848 properties in the whole stellar market that will give you income: duplex, triplex, fourplex, and quadplex. Let's go ahead and narrow this down to this area, which is sort of more manageable. If you are in the area, your landlord, you definitely want to be able to be near enough to manage it. So we're down to 380 properties. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know I'm an advocate of not buying in the flood zones, especially if you're a landlord. You don't want to have a contract with somebody to provide them with housing and then have a problem with the, with a flood or something. All right. Now, in the old days, I don't know, 3 years ago, we didn't have tornadoes in Florida. Now we do. So I urge you just to concentrate on block homes, and frame and mobile homes are just too dangerous with these hurricanes. And finally, I'm going to guess that if you're an investor, you're worried about price. So let's start off at 250,000 and less. There's only two properties that are below $250,000 that are duplexes, and here's one of them in Hudson. This is a 1-1 and a 2-1. It's not in a flood zone. You know, they always say there's a reason why things are cheap when they're cheap. This is the other one in Inverness. This is $245,000. And it's the same two pictures over and over, 112 days on the market. All right, anytime we do an analysis, we always want to look at the pendings and the sold. So let's see if there's anything in the pendings. There are 3 pendings in this criteria. Let's take a look at them. Oh yeah, this was on one of my earlier videos. This went under contract in 188 days in Zephyr Hills. This one went under contract in 3 days. And finally, this one went under contract in 35 days. Now, these are the ones below 250,000. If we look at the ones above 250,000, just because we're students of the market, there's 56 of them that have sold in the last 6 months over 250,000. Now, looking at the solds, let's go back, let's say 60 days. Let's go back to below $250,000, and there's only been 2 of them. Let's go back 90 days. Let's go back 120 days. 120 days. We got to know the market. The only way to know the market is by looking at the solds. Now, these are duplexes. Let's take a look. This one was 245,000. It actually sold for 210,000 in 55 days. Looks like somebody got a deal. Here's 299,000. It sold for 240,000. And this is actually 2 different properties. That one looks interesting. 194 days. And finally, 299,000 sold for 240,000 in 195 days. It just goes to show that the asking price is an indication. It is not an absolute. All right, we're going to go up to the triplexes now. Let's add another $125,000, and let's see what we get in the triplexes. There's 28 total properties, but we want to compare apples to apples, so we can only do triplexes. There's only one triplex below 375,000. Let's go to 425, and now we've got 2. So it looks like buying 2 duplexes might be a better deal than buying a triplex. This is $350,000 in Tampa, 26 days on the market. This is a 3-bedroom, a 1-bedroom, and a studio, or an efficiency. Here we have $425,000, and this has been on the market for 120 days. Let's go ahead and do the market is not the active. The markets are the solds, and there's only been 2. Let's look at the pendings at the same time. There are no pendings in triplexes below $425,000. Here's a 44 days on the market, 350,000. It sold for 312. 400,000 sold for 395,000. And just for fun, let's go ahead and do above 425,000 to see what the triplex market looks like. 29 properties. Let's pendings first. There are 3 pendings that are in the triplex market. 709.80. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, for you value investors, maybe the prices we're looking at on some of those are pretty attractive. Look at what those pendings are. Let's go to 70 days on the solds. We want to go back to, there's only one that is sold. We went through that one. Let's go to the 13 solds in the triplexes for over $425,000. 479 sold for 439. 469 sold for 445. 550 sold for 545. 650 sold for 635. In Dunedin, 749 sold for 660. Okay, we're going to move on because I believe my investors are looking for deals, and the deals are not in the $600,000 or $800,000 market. Okay, let's look at quadplexes. Right now, there's 17 quads below 400 and over 425 grand. Let's look at under. There's probably none. There's one. Let's get some population. Quadplexes below 500. There are three. Let's go to 550. Oops, that's not 550. This is 550. So there are four product. There's a salesman out here. Be careful. Okay, this is $395,000 in Tampa. Wow. 33 days on the market. You know, they say the best deals sell the quickest. This is a $475,000 for 9 days on the market. You know, you cut that number in half for a duplex, and that fourplex looks pretty attractive. $500,000 been on the market for 41 days, and $550,000 been on the market for 61 days. Let's look at the pendings and the solds. Pendings are 2. Solds are enough, or a small enough number we can look at all of these in one grouping. 414,000 sold for 418,000 in Mulberry. I know that property. I have a listing on 9th Avenue. If you're interested in vacant land, I have a listing right down there from there for 75 grand for about 3/4 of an acre. 449,000 is pending in 115 days. 450,000 active for 178 days. 489,000. We're in quadplexes, remember. Actually, that's a sold. Excuse me. That one sold for 464. It looks like there's a real pattern of these things selling at somewhat of a discount. This one sold for $9,000 less than the asking price. And finally, let's look at at fiveplexes, 5 or more. And let's bring the price up to, let's say, 650. And these are the pendings and the solds. Let's see if there's anything active below 650,000. There's one. Let's do 800,000 or less. There's only one. Let's do any price. 20 of them. 650, 895, 895, 895, and 961. Let's look at the pendings and the solds. 6 pendings. Quite a few solds. Let's go back 90 days. And we have a 12 number. I'm not going to go through all of these. Grand Boulevard sold for $410,000. They were asking $449. This is 5 units. This is the deal of the day. No question. It's not available. Don't call on that one. Clearwater pending at $680. St. Pete pending at $685. Pending at $780. $925. That's 6 units. Hey, anyway, I'm Randy Jenkins. I appreciate you watching. If you're watching this, you're on my YouTube channel already, but feel free to reach out and become a subscriber. Enjoy the opportunity to compete for your business. Let's go ahead and see if I can wave goodbye. Bye. Hey, I was under 10 minutes. Have a great day.